Hello, class. Welcome to our lecture regarding Rule 111 of Criminal Procedure. So, we will be talking about Rule 111, the divergent paths, a comprehensive analysis of Rule 111, prosecution of civil action in criminal proceedings. So, this is prepared by the undersigned. So, let's discuss. So, the concept of dual liability. So, Article 100 of the Revised Penal Code stated that every person criminally liable for a felony is also civilly liable. So, every time na may ginagawa ang isang accused na criminal liability, he is likewise civilly liable. So, ano ang civil liability? That is payment of damages. So, take note, the act or omission. Yan yung basis ng pagpataw ng penalty under the criminal procedure. So we are filing criminal liability. The goal is to impose a penalty and imprison the person, the accused, the person of the accused, with the purpose of reforming him and as a form of retribution and punishment. So it is the state that imposes that penalty. Kasi nga, yung title ng ating mga criminal cases is that People of the Philippines versus the accused. So it's the entire nation that is filing a case against the accused. Whereas dito naman sa civil liability, it is the private offended party that files the civil case, the civil aspect of the case. Ano naman ang pinaka-goal niya? The victim's goal or the complainant's goal is to restitute at saka paghingi ng damages. Restitute means ibalik yung nawala. Damages, yung mga moral damages yung nangyari sa kanya. Kailan nang niningil ng moral damages? In case of sleepless nights, besmirched reputation, whatsoever, and that is written under the New Civil Code. Next, pag-usapan natin to. Section 1, the general rule implied institution. Ang sinasabi sa Rule 111 Section 1A, when a criminal action is instituted, the civil action for the recovery of civil liability arising from the offense ex delicto is deemed instituted with the criminal action. So meaning to say, kapag nagfa-file ka ng criminal action in court, it is deemed that the civil aspect of the civil liability, the civil action for the recovery of civil liability is deemed instituted. Meaning to say, nakasama na dun sa criminal case. Both, in other words, both the criminal action and the civil action is deemed instituted. Pinapakulong mo yung accused at the same time you are collecting or demanding the payment of the civil damages. That is the moral damages, exemplary damages. Ano ba yung iba't ibang types of damages? We have ang aming kwan dyan, ang aming shortcut dyan ay mental. Moral, exemplary, nominal, temperate, actual damages, and then ano nga ulit yung L? What is L? Wala sa isip ko yung L. Liquidated damages ata? Ba yung L? Anyway, I will have to get back to you kung ano yung L. Liquidated damages ba yung L? Wait, I'll check. Correct. Ulitin ko. Liquidated pala yung L. Mental, moral damages, exemplary damages, nominal damages, temperate. Tama ba? Temperate. Temperate nga or moderate damages. And then actual damages. And then liquidated damages. Okay, next, continue. Actually, under Rule 111, tatlo ang pwedeng gawin ng isang complainant. May tatlong diskarte sa pagpa-file ng criminal case. Yung una, the waiver. Wait lang class, mag-charge lang ako ng laptop ko, palobat na. The first option for the victim is to, number one, waiver. The offended party waives the civil action. Wini-waive niya na yung Ibig sabihin, hindi na siya mag-file ng civil action. Ikalawa, reservation. The offended party, the victim, reserves the right to institute it separately. Ibig sabihin, sinasabi niya sa court during arraignment na, Your Honor, we will reserve our right to institute the civil action in relation to this criminal case. Something to that effect. Yan yung reservation. Ikatlong option ng victim is to prior institute. Nauna na niyang na-file yung civil action. The civil action is instituted prior to the criminal action. Lastly, a waiver of any of the civil action extinguishes the others. So, ang sinasabi dito sa Rule 111 class, Section 1, when a criminal action is instituted, the civil action for the recovery of civil liability arising from the offense charge shall be deemed instituted with the criminal action unless the offended party waives the civil action. Ibig sabihin, hindi na siya magpa-file ng civil action or reserves the right to institute it separately. Sasabihin niya sa court, I will file it, the civil aspect of the action separately, or institute the civil action prior to the criminal action. Nauna na niyang i-final yung civil action. Okay, yun yung tatlong option. Let's discuss the rule of reservation ng civil action. Kailan ba yan rine-reserve? Ganito yan class. Ang threshold period wherein you can reserve the filing of a separate civil action, dito sa prosecution of evidence. Ano ba yung sequence kasi sa criminal procedure natin? Once, example, in case, remember there are two ways in which a case will reach the court. Unang-una, nanyan yung mga cases na kailangang dumaan sa preliminary investigation which is being conducted by the DOJ. I extensively discussed this to you. Iulit ko na lang in case nakalimutan nyo. If the penalty of the offense made by the accused is punishable by 6 years and 1 day, required na dumaan sa Department of Justice through the prosecutor's office. Take note of that. 6 years and 1 day. Kailangan ng preliminary investigation. If lower than 6 years and 1 day, no need to go through the prosecutor's office. Pwede ka nang mag-direct filing sa court. So, either municipal trial court, municipal circuit trial court, metropolitan trial court, or the regional trial court. Take note, 6 years and 1 day. Ano ba ang jurisdiction ng regional trial court when it comes to criminal cases? Yun. Ang threshold pala is 6 years. If the penalty for a crime exceeds 6 years, then the jurisdiction is with the regional trial court. If lower than 6 years, then either MTC, METC, or MTCTC ang may jurisdiction. Okay? So take note, kailan ka magre-reserve na i-file mo separately ang civil action? Ang cut-off period ay yung prosecution evidence. Ibig sabihin kapag mag-represent na ng witness ang prosecutor. Pag nakapag-present na siya, cut off na. So, deemed instituted na yung civil aspect nung liability nung accused doon sa criminal case. Next, non-reservation cases where the law forbids separation. The criminal action for violation of Batas Pambansa Bilang 22 shall be deemed to include the corresponding civil action. No reservation to file such civil action separately shall be allowed. Upon the filing of the aforesaid joint criminal and civil actions, the offended party shall pay in full the filing fees based on the amount of the check involved, which shall be considered as the actual damages claimed, where the complaint or information also seeks to recover liquidated moral, nominal, temperate, or exemplary damages. The offended party shall pay additional filing fees based on the amounts alleged therein. If the amounts are not so alleged, but any of these damages are subsequently awarded by the court, the filing fees based on the amount awarded shall constitute a first lien on the judgment, where the civil action has been filed separately and trial thereof has not yet commenced. It may be consolidated with the criminal action upon application with the court trying the latter case. If the application is granted, the trial in both actions shall proceed in accordance with Section 2 of this rule governing consolidation of civil and criminal action. So take note, kapag ang case ay involving BP22, hindi pwedeng is-separately filed ang civil action. So meron na akong case na ganyan, dapat matik na magkasamang fina-file ang civil at criminal action. At the same time, kailangan mong magbayad ng filing fees for the BP22 cases. Yun yung medyo mabigat. Kasi nga, example, when you are collecting yung 1 million worth of check na tumalbog, um, anong estimate na filing fees nun? That's about 20,000. Pero ang sinasabi naman dito sa rule is that kapag pwede namang maging lien na lang siya in case may award yung damages in favor of the complainant. Yan ang sinabi niya dito. Ito ang sabi niya kapag BP22. The offended party shall pay additional filing fees based on the amounts alleged therein. If the amounts are not so alleged, but any of these damages are subsequently awarded by the court, the filing fees based on the amount awarded shall constitute a first lien on the judgment. Oh, so ano ang recourse mo kapag BP22? Siyempre, hindi mo na isusulat yung value nung alleged na naisulat sa cheque para hindi ka magbayad ng ng filing fees. Kasi class, kapag civil case ang ifa-file mo, tapos naghingi ka ng damages, you will have to pay filing fees. As per my experience, yung 500,000 worth of damages, ang kailangan mong bayaran sa korte around more or less 15,000. If my memory serves me right, ganun siya kamahal. 500,000 yung kokolektahin mo, you will have to pay the court a filing fee amounting to 20,000. That goes to the court, walang hawak na ang abogado dyan. O, ang sinasabi dito sa Rule 111 is that kung hindi linagay sa complaint yung amount nung cheque na tumalbog, and then later on the court awarded damages, the computation of the filing fee will be a lien dun sa i-award ng korte later on. So, walang kawala. Kailangan mong magbayad ng filing fee. Ano pang significance ng filing fee or docket fees sa civil cases? Kasi nga under the BP22, you cannot file separately civil at criminal. Minsanan nang ifa-file yan. Sa criminal case ba may binabayarang filing fee or docket fee? Wala. Nagkataon that in BP22 cases, both the civil and criminal aspect are to be filed ah, ng sabay. Hindi pwedeng mauna yung criminal, mahuli yung civil. Hindi pwedeng mauna yung civil, mahuli yung criminal. Dalawa, sabay na ifa-file yan. That's why there is a need to compute for the amount of filing fee or docket fee. Meron kasing jurisprudence ng payment of docket fee or filing fee is a ground for the dismissal of the civil case. That's why medyo mabigat dito kasi nga you are talking about hundreds of depende kung ano nakalagay dun sa tumalbog na check eh. Talagang kailangan magbayad ng filing fee. In these scenarios, the civil action is always deemed instituted with the criminal action. No reservation is allowed. Bawal ang reservation. Tandaan nyo yan, kapag BP22 Sandigan Bayan cases, tax-related cases, those do not have reservation. Deemed instituted na sila sa criminal case. So deep dive, the BP22 anomaly. Natural person, signatory, civil action, deemed instituted, no reservation allowed. So kapag mag-file ka ng criminal action, deemed instituted ang civil action. O bakit nga na naman nagfa-file ng civil action sa criminal case? Kasi nga po, sir ma'am, if you missed my statement earlier, Article 100 of the Revised Penal Code, every criminal action has civil liability that the accused will have to pay. So that's why, ito yung naging issue natin dito, Rule 111. Ulitin natin, may tatlong option. Una, kapag mag-file ka ng criminal case, deemed instituted ang civil action. Ikalawa, i-reserve mo yung filing ng criminal case before the prosecution presents its first witness. Ikatlo, nauna mo nang na-file yung civil action compared sa criminal action. So those are the options. But when we are talking about BP22, Sandigan Bayan cases, taxation cases, then ang sinasabi sa policy is that no reservation. Kung magfa-file ka na ng BP22, i-file mo na civil at criminal sabay. So, let's discuss BP22 anomaly. Natural person signatory, civil action deemed instituted. Juridical person, corporation, special civil action may be reserved. Gashaka versus Ching, the prohibition applies to the accused, not the corporation on whose behalf the check was issued. Ayun nga ang anomaly doon. Kapag civil action deemed instituted, pero kapag juridical person, corporation, separate action may be reserved. Okay, that's the difference. Kapag natural person yung complainant, hindi pwedeng ihiwalay ang civil action. But when juridical person or a corporation is involved, separate civil action may be reserved. Okay, ganun palang distinction. Okay, take note of that. Let's move on. Filing fees and judgment liens. So, ang sinasabi dito, Sun Insurance Office Limited versus Asuncion, filing fees must be paid upon filing. Ito, ang tinutukoy dito sa BP22. Okay? Sa BP22. Kasi nga, deemed instituted, hindi pwede mag-reserve sa BP22, sa tax cases, at saka ano yung isang case? Dito, minention kanina, Sandigan Bayan cases. Ano yung mga Sandigan Bayan cases? Those cases that are being filed against government officials with salary higher than salary grade 27. So, yun yung mga cases cognizable by the Sandigan Bayan. So, take note of that. Filing fees must be paid. Kung hindi, madidismiss yung kaso. Pero yun nga, dahil criminal case yan, yun din ang sinabi ko dun sa court when I filed the case. Dapat uh, maging lean na lang siya dun sa award later on by the court. So, ito nga yung sinabi niya. Lean. Filing fees constitute the first lien on the judgment. Ibig sabihin ng lien, in case may award ng court yung damages, kasi ang BP22, ah, ang ano ang transaction sa BP22? Ano ang violation sa BP22? Batas Pambansa bilang 22. Kapag nag-issue ka ng cheque and then nag-bounce yung cheque, the court will give you 5 days to cure the problem. Or else, hindi mo inayos yan, fa-filean ka ngayon ng BP22. Who can file BP22? The bank can file a case against you, the court, ay, not the court, the police officers kung irereklamo siya sa police, or ikaw na recipient ng drone against insufficient fund na cheque. You can file that directly to the court. So, yun nga, syempre, hihingan ka ng filing fee. Kasi say for example, 1 million yung amount ng cheque mo, under the rules, dapat daw sabay na walang reservation ng civil aspect. So, sabay na ipa-file yung criminal at saka civil. So, ipapabayad sa'yo ngayon ng korte yung filing fee ng 1 million. Ang estimate ko sa 1 million around 20,000 pesos. Medyo mabigat din, di ba? So kung wala kang pambayad doon sa 20,000, pwedeng makiusap ka. Sir, ma'am, pwede kayang instead of paying it, maging lien na lang siya sa judgment award? Yun yung pwedeng gawin. And case-to-case basis yan. Hindi ko maalala kung anong nangyari doon sa case ko na yun. Na-file ba namin or hindi na ako nabalikan ng kliyente eh. But I filed that case dito sa Solano. So, meron tayong Section 3, independent path. Ano naman to? When civil action may proceed independently in cases provided in Articles 32, 33, 34 to 176 of the Civil Code of the Philippines, the independent civil action may be brought by the offended party. Each shall proceed independently of the criminal action and shall require only preponderance of evidence. In no case, however, may the offended party recover damage twice for the same act or omission charged in the criminal action. So, ang sinasabi dito, class, for fraud, pwedeng i-file separately as civil damages yung civil damages niya. Meron akong case ngayon currently ganito. Ganyan din. Uh, it involves fraud, estafa. So, I can file the case of estafa at the same time itong civil aspect to collect the amount of danyos na ginawa nung accused. Dalawa ang case niya ngayon na pending. Isang civil, isang criminal. Yung criminal, yun yung may kulong. Yung civil, yun yung collection of the amount na niloko niya dun sa kliyente ko. And those cases can proceed independently. And ano bang pinagkaiba ng civil at saka criminal? So, ang pinag-aaralan natin dito sa subject na to, criminal procedure, is on the, proof beyond reasonable doubt. Yan yung degree of burden of proof na kailangan patunayan ng prosecutor. Proof beyond reasonable doubt. What about yan? Preponderance of evidence. Yan is for civil cases. Preponderance meaning uh, ano ba yung preponderance of evidence? In other words yan, at least basta may maraming ebidensya. So ano ba yung mga hierarchy of evidence? Ilagay natin siya sa parang pyramid. Ang pinaka sa tuktok, proof beyond reasonable doubt. Highest standard required for criminal conviction. Proof beyond reasonable doubt. Ikalawang hierarchy, clear and convincing evidence, a standard higher than preponderance but lower than proof beyond reasonable doubt. used in specific instances like proving self-defense or overcoming the presumption of valid marriage. So take note of that, clear and convincing evidence. So sa pyramid natin, ikatlo, yung preponderance of evidence, the standard for civil cases. And the last level is substantial evidence. Ano naman tong substantial evidence? The lowest standard applicable in administrative or quasi-judicial bodies, requiring only such relevant evidence as a reasonable mind might accept as adequate to support a conclusion. No, at least memorize the definition. Subsequent evidence, the lowest standard applicable in administrative or quasi-judicial bodies, requiring only such relevant evidence as a reasonable mind might accept as adequate to support a conclusion. O, yun yung key terms doon. Relevant evidence as reasonable mind might accept as adequate support to support a conclusion. So take note, an acquittal in criminal court does not bar civil liability due to lower standard of proof. Say for example, nag-file ka ng criminal case na dismiss, you are not barred in filing a civil aspect of the case because mas mababa na yung level of evidence burden of proof required in civil aspect. It's mere preponderance of evidence. Ibig sabihin ng preponderance, paramihan, mas madaming ebidensya. Pero mas mababa siya compared sa proof beyond reasonable doubt and clear and convincing evidence. So take note of that. So ang lowest, substantial evidence. Substantial evidence, ano yung key terms doon? Relevant evidence as a reasonable mind might accept as adequate to support a conclusion. Adequate that can support a conclusion. Take note, say for example, nag-file ka ng criminal case, at the same time, you also filed civil case. Ang problema nga lang dyan, merong prohibition on double recovery. Ano yung double recovery? In no case may the offended party recover damages twice for the same act or omission. So example, yung ginawa ko, nag-file ako ng criminal case, nag-file din ako ng civil aspect. Nai-award sa akin yung damages sa civil. And then, na-award din sa akin yung criminal. So, can I claim for both? No. Yun yung double recovery na sinasabi natin. Next, suspension of separate civil action. Kailan yan nangyayari? Primacy of the criminal action. If the criminal action is filed after a separate civil action, the civil action is suspended until final judgment in criminal case. Ang exception dyan, yung independent civil action. Like yung sa case ko, fraud, it can continue, can never be suspended. Pero kapag hindi yan fraud related, then masususpend muna yung civil action until such time na matapos yung criminal action. After the criminal action has been commenced, the separate civil action arising therefrom cannot be instituted until the final judgment has been entered in the criminal action. If the criminal action is filed after the civil action has already been instituted, the latter, which is the criminal action, shall be suspended. The latter, meaning the criminal action, will be suspended in whatever state it may be found before the judgment on the merits. The suspension shall last until final judgment is rendered in the criminal action. Nevertheless, before judgment on the merits rendered in the civil action, the same may Upon motion of the offended party, be consolidated with the criminal action in the court trying the criminal action. In case of consolidation, the evidence already adduced in the civil action shall be deemed automatically reproduced in the criminal action without prejudice to the right of the prosecution to cross-examine the witnesses presented by the offended party in the criminal case and the parties to present additional evidence. The consolidated criminal and civil action shall be tried and decided jointly. During the pendency of the criminal action, the running period of prescription of the civil action which cannot be instituted separately or whose proceeding has been suspended shall be told. Ibig sabihin titigil yung prescription period. The extinction of the penal action does not carry with it extinction of the civil action. However, the civil action based on the delict shall be deemed extinguished if there is a finding in the final judgment in the criminal action that the act or omission from which the civil liability may arise did not exist. Now, next topic, consolidation of action. Before judgment on the merits in the civil action, it may be consolidated with the criminal action upon motion of the offended party. Evidence already adduced in the civil action is deemed automatically reproduced. So, yan yung consolidation of action. I-merge yung civil at saka criminal action for efficiency. Ito, pag-usapan natin prejudicial question. Baka lumabas to sa inyong board exam. So, what is a prejudicial question? Prejudicial question arises in a case where the resolution of an issue is a logical antecedent to the issue involved in the criminal case and the cognizance of which pertains to another tribunal. So, example, a case where a resolution of an issue is a logical antecedent in the issue involved in the criminal case and recognizable of which pertains to another tribunal. So, ano yung mga elemento pag sinabing prejudicial question? Number one, relation. The previous instituted civil action involves an issue similar to intimately related to the issue raised in the subsequent criminal action. So, prejudicial question, may naunang na-file na civil action and then relating to the same issue. And then there comes another case, criminal action naman ang na-file. Remember, pag sinabing civil action, ang hinahabol dyan damages, walang kulong. But later on, after the first case, after the filing of the first civil action, may na-file ulit na susunod na case which is criminal case naman. Okay? So, ano pa yung next elements? The resolution of such issue determines whether or not the criminal action may proceed. I will give you an example of prejudicial question. Ito ang case. May criminal case, falsification of documents. So, ito yung nauna. Meron naunang na-file na case. Imagine a person is charged in a criminal case for falsification of public documents, alleging that they forged signatures on a deed of sale. At the same time, there is an earlier case that was filed, civil case for the nullification of title and deeds, involving the same documents where the court must decide if the signatures are genuine or not. So, bakit siya naging prejudicial question? The issue is, in the civil case, are the signatures genuine? Is a legal antecedent of the issue in the criminal case. Did the accused forge the signatures? Okay? So if the civil court decides that the signature are genuine, the accused cannot be found guilty of falsification in the criminal case. Therefore, the criminal case must be suspended until the civil case is resolved to avoid conflicting decision. So nakita nyo yun class, ulitin natin yung elements ng prejudicial question. May naunang na-file na civil case and then later on merong criminal case na na-file. With this example, ang criminal case na na-file, falsification. Doon sa civil aspect, declaration of nullity of title. So, yung decision sa civil ay importante to establish whether or not there is falsification. Kung dito sa civil case, dineclare as void yung title gawa ng peking pirma, so therefore, kapag na grant yung complaint dun sa civil, pati dun sa criminal case, ma-convict na rin yung the accused because lalabas na ginawa niya yung criminal offense. Yun yung prejudicial question. O, next topic. Elements of prejudicial question, yun nga. Civil action involves an issue similar and intimately related to the criminal action. Naunang na-file yung civil bago yung criminal. Determinative. Resolution of the civil issue determines guilt or innocence in the criminal case. So, tandaan nyo class, pag prejudicial question, naunang na-file yung civil action and then later on, there was a new case that is filed and that is the criminal action. So, kailangan mo nang isuspend yung criminal in order for the civil aspect to be decided. Yung fate ng criminal case would depend upon the decision of the civil case. Like, think of my example, laging tandaan nyo yun. Falsification vis-a-vis dun sa declaration of nullity of title. Naunang na-file yung declaration of nullity of title and that is a civil case lang. So, kung napatunayang void nga yung na-implement yung declaration of nullity, so therefore, kung na-confirm na void yun, so therefore, null and void yung title. So, talagang may forgery na nangyayari. Kasi napatunayan na void yung title. It bears a signature na hindi naman pinirman ng may-ari. Kaya siya pumasok na falsification. Hello class, naantok na ako. Anong oras na ako kasi? 11:30 na. Kakagaling ko ng travel. Tapusin ko to. Ito. Effect of death. Namatay yung accused. Meron akong ganitong kliyente currently. Namatay yung accused. Tapos na yung arraignment. So, paano? Magsusurvive ba yung criminal case? So, kung nangyari yung death before the arraignment, death here, criminal case dismiss plus civil action dismiss. Magfa-file ka na lang ng civil aspect ng claim mo dun sa estate nung accused. However, kapag namatay yung accused after the arraignment, criminal liability extinguish. Wala ka nang ipapakulong. Pero yung independent civil action survive. Pwede mong i-file dun sa estate nung namatay. So ano ang arraignment? Ano ang arraignment? Sa madaling salita, ano bang arraignment? Yan yung binabasahan ng sakdal yung accused. Tinatanong, ano ang iyong plea? Are you guilty or not guilty? Ang sinasabi ng accused, not guilty, your honor. Kasi kapag guilty ka, nag-guilty ka, so, inaamin mo yung krimen na final sa'yo. Maganda rin namang umamin ka na para mapababaan yung ipapataw sa yung penalty. Pero yun nga lang, either kulong ka or may pabayaran kang penalty. So, medyo mahirap. Huwag ka na lang gumawa ng krimen kung ayaw mong may stress na ganyan. At ang pangit kasi dyan, class, yung experience. Experience. Hindi mo alam kung paano mo lulusutan. Diba? Okay. So ano tong sinasabi nitong Lipata Doctrine? Yung liability ex delicto arising from the crime, extinguished. Liability from contract, quasi-contract, quasi-delict, may papasa yung obligasyon dun sa survivor. Oh, yung People versus Lipata establishes the rules regarding extinguishment and survival of civil liability when the accused dies during the pendency of the criminal appeal. Criminal appeal kasi to, ibig sabihin, may decision na, pero during the appeal period, namatay yung accused. So, extinguishment of liability. The death of the accused pending the appeal of his conviction extinguishes his criminal liability as well as civil liability based solely on the crime. Survival of independent civil liability. Claims for civil liability survive notwithstanding the death of the accused if they are predicated on sources of obligation other than the delict, such as law, contract, quasi-contract, and quasi-delict. O, saan ngayon ipa-file yan? Sa estate nung accused. Eh, yun ay kung may pera naman yung accused, eh, paano pag wala? Wala. Talagang ganun talaga ang buhay. Next. Mahaba-haba pa to ah. So, sino ang magiging... I prepared 20 slides for you, class. Malapit na last 4 slides. So, ano ang obligation? Counsel informs court within 30 days from the death. Naming of legal representatives. Tapos yung heirs naman, yan, civil liability. Namatay yung accused, sino na ang mapafailan? Yung kanyang tagapagmana. Kaya namamana ang utang. Yun ang kasamang palad. Pero yan naman, sa estate, sa estate nung accused yun papasok. Magiging claim against the state. However, kung wala kang estate, yun lang. Sabi dito, the criminal case is reduced to a civil action for the remaining survival claims. Next, effect of acquittal on civil liability. Does not guilty mean no debt? Not necessarily. The sources the effect of acquittal on civil liability. Take note of the case Manahan versus CA, GR number 106539. Acquittal based on reasonable doubt. Na-dismiss yung criminal case, hindi siya napakulong. Liability is civil, not criminal in nature. Liability arises from independent sources. Contract ang basis ng liability. Civil liability can still be proven by preponderance of evidence. The civil action may proceed independently. Contractual obligations are separate from civil charges. So, take note, hindi namatay yung accused dito but na-acquit siya on acquittal on civil liability. Na-acquit siya sa kanyang criminal offense. Remember dun sa concept, every criminal case merong civil liability delicto based on the criminal act. Every criminal action, there is a civil liability involved. Pero dito, na-acquit yung accused because of reasonable doubt. Ang pinaka-question dito is that Kung na-dismiss yung case mo based on reasonable ground, are you still obligated to pay the civil liability? Yung civil liability can be proved by mere preponderance of evidence. So, yes, kung may reasonable doubt at na-dismiss yung case, criminal case, you are still, if proven in court na may preponderance of evidence, you can still be liable to pay off civil liability. So, ito. Civil liability extinguished only if the final judgment declares that the act or omission in which the civil liability may arise did not exist. So, kung wala talagang pruweba, hindi siya magbabayad. Insufficiency of evidence, walang civil liability. Take note of that. Na-dismiss yung criminal offense because of reasonable doubt and the fact na hindi niya ginawa. So therefore, walang civil liability. Yan yun. Did not exist. Civil liability did not exist. So this is the summary sheet of what we discussed. Meron dito independent actions, prejudicial questions, BP 22, the exemption, the general rule in filing criminal action and civil action, dim instituted yung civil action. So, ayan po ang ating discussion. Galingan nyo sa inyong exam for prelims. 50 items, 20 items, 50 items multiple choice, 20 items true or false. I will make it a very friendly exam. Okay? Pagod na ako, class. Allow me to sleep. May klase na naman bukas, may work na naman bukas. I'm very much exhausted. Okay, class, dismiss. Thank you.